Hi everybody, it's Charles Harper, and what I'm going to be doing in this brief presentation is talking about what's working now. And I'm going to summarize this in a document, but I wanted to give you an idea of how to think through this process of making money online and what you can start doing right now. And so I'm going to kind of move from the general to the specific and then give you one specific application. Then we're going to have some, I'm going to conclude with some things that I think you can be doing on a regular basis that'll really help you. Now, what's working now is basically what's always worked. And I'm going to get to that and what that really means. Now, there are 8 fundamentals that have always worked when it comes to marketing, and that's marketing anything. And in this case, we're probably talking about marketing information, but it's also worked when you're talking about marketing physical products, you're talking about marketing services, you're probably talking about marketing, offline. These fundamentals have always worked when it comes to marketing. And they're best probably summarized. I use the word codified here by a gentleman, and you've probably heard of him, Jay Abraham, and later by Richard Johnson in what he called hidden marketing assets. It's a program that he's done for consultants that go into small businesses and help them to be able to generate more profit without spending a lot of money on advertising. And the basis of all of this, right, is that marketing, whatever you're doing right now, and this is in your internet marketing business, needs to work in a system, right? And it is a system for marketing. It is a system for promotion so that you will generate more sales. And you will generate more sales without having to pay a lot in advertising or even a lot with your time. And so the system is determined by, it's constrained by a couple of things. Number one, what you have the ability to deliver. So in other words, if you don't have the ability to give people something that they're looking for in the marketplace, then it's something you can't promise. If you can deliver something that other people can't, yes, this is what your system will operate on. And the whole theory is kind of based on something called the theory of constraints by a gentleman named Goldratt, and he talked about it in The Goal. So you got to have 3 things, in your system: what it is that you can bring to the marketplace, the profit you want to make, and what the market actually wants. So those are the 3 things that will control your system. So knowing what the market wants, right? Knowing what you have the ability to deliver, and knowing how much profit you want to make. Those are the 3 things that are gonna control your system for marketing. Now, here are the 8 fundamentals that I talked about, and I'm going to fly through them because they're going to kind of give us the basis for what it is, what's going to be the practical application of what we're going to be talking about, what I'm going to tell you about in terms of making money online. These 8 fundamentals, again, they're not new to me. I didn't invent them. I wish I did, but Jay Abraham was probably the one that kind of put them into motion. And this is marketing anything, including information. Now, these are all things that are strategic, and they do not require additional advertising to implement. And I will also say this, that when you do these things right, they will give you back more time. And I think that's what's important to you as a marketer, an internet marketer more than anything. You're probably, like any other internet marketer, you're spending a lot of time at your computer, depending on whether or not you've got a family or whether or not you've got a social life. You spend a lot of time there, and you've spent a lot of time trying to make things work. When you put together these things in a system, this will give you back some of your time. So I hope you're excited about that. Now, here's the first thing that you've got to have. You need a unique selling proposition. This is probably not new to you. You've got to have something that I have to come to you to get that I can't get elsewhere. And you've got to start thinking about that when you start talking about whether or not you're going to be a blogger, whether or not you're going to be a product creator, whether or not you're going to be a presenter. You need to have something that you can put into what you do that I cannot get every place else. Here's one of the things that I think you've already figured out about blogging, right? Is this: how many times is there one subject that everybody blogs about and everybody says the same thing about? So what that means is that I'm indifferent as to where I get that information. So if you're talking about the same things that everybody else is talking about, yes, you may get traffic, but that brings down the value of what you're doing. If you have something that I want that I can only get from you, right, then that means you have a unique selling proposition that raises the value of what you have, and you don't have to compete on the basis of price. Now, exponential marketing. In other words, once you get to me, right, you're able to give me additional value. You're able to get me to buy other things, and I'm probably going to buy otherwise. If I'm going to buy the stuff from somebody else, I might as well buy it from you. And if you don't present it to me, I'm not going to buy it. So this is a fundamental of marketing, getting the value in front of people that they're going to eventually buy these things anyway. And exponential marketing also means that you want to have me as a customer as long as you can possibly have me. And one of the ways in which you do that is by making sure that every transaction that I get the maximum value presented to me, so that again you can have the maximum amount of profits and that my attention is kind of focused on you. The other thing, list building, third fundamental. So this goes without saying. You're an internet marketer. You need to be list building. You need to be building your database. Now this could mean, it could mean YouTube subscribers. It could mean people you have on social media. Those things are harder to control, but they're there. However you have these people, you need to have them, you need to be list building. If you're building a forum or community, your forum or community needs to grow. If you are building a Skype room, your Skype room should be growing, right? If you are building a database, you should be focused on building your list or database. We're going to be primarily talking about that in this time. Now, business alliances or joint ventures. Right, business alliances or joint ventures. You need to be, and this is actually where we're gonna land in what I'm going to be talking about here. Business alliances are probably the fastest and best way for you to be able to grow your business and for you to be able to get in the game if you're not in it already. So if you're not making any money online, this is what we're going to focus on here today, because business alliances is probably going to be the fastest way you're going to be able to do that. Joint ventures, affiliate relationships, all of those things are going to make you, put you into a position to make money. I'm not going to say make money fast, but if you're not making any money online, it's probably going to be the way that you're going to get started. Now, media advertising. We're not going to spend a whole lot of time on that, but and even though their system is dependent upon not spending a lot of money on advertising, when you understand the match between your demographic and you understand the match between your demographic and the media that they consume, whether it's television, radio, or whatever the case is, when you understand that and you understand what's converting for you, then not using media advertising is not smart. Right? And so that's a double negative. In other words, once you understand what converts, you understand where your demographic is, you understand where they hang out in terms of traditional media, then that's not a difficult spend. The problem with media advertising is if you're spending it in the dark, you don't know where your market is, you're spending a lot of money and you don't know what the return is. But you understand how to track and you understand where your demographic is and you understand what converts with them. Getting to them on media actually increases your income, and it does so in a way that gives you leverage and doesn't take money out of your pocket, actually puts more money in. Community marketing and PR. So in other words, being a good citizen, right? Being a good citizen and getting what comes along with that. Doing some of the things that you're already doing, but doing them in a way that, again, allows you to be seen by people, to understand. Look, people, when you're a small business, you probably can't do branding the way Pepsi does, right? But you can put yourself in a favorable position in the mind of a customer by being in the community, wherever that community is. Could be online, but when you are in a favorable position because of the things you're doing in the community, because of the things that you're doing in ways that really matter to people, that will be marketing for you, and you need to be intentional about that. Now, and then of course there's internet traffic. I want you to notice something here, that I left that till last, and I also left that as the seventh or the eighth piece of this, right, that I could have talked about. And it's not everything, right? It's a major part of what you have to do, but once you have all the other things in place and you're doing all the other things, then these things are going to actually work. And I could have actually talked about, Jay Abraham also talks about direct marketing, and he also talks about direct response. I'm not gonna include that here because I think direct response is probably included in everything else we're going to be talking about. So those are the sort of the 8 fundamentals. You don't see direct response. I could have included that there. I'm not going to, because I think, again, it's woven into all these other things. Now, so here's what we're going to focus on. What's working right now? What can you do right now? How can you start getting started to make money online? and it is business alliances and relationships. So if you're not doing anything, nothing's happening for you right now, and you want to start making it happen, and you're frustrated, and you're kind of bumping up against the wall, and you're trying to figure out, okay, you know what, I buy this stuff, and it doesn't work for me. I buy this stuff, and it half works for me. I buy this stuff, and I can get started. I can get a few sales, but I can't sustain anything. I want you to start thinking about this. Number 4, business alliances and relationships. I don't care what niche you're in. Right? It doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter whether or not you're a blogger. It doesn't really matter whether or not you're in CPA marketing. It doesn't matter whether or not you're in product create. It doesn't matter. Right? Business alliances and relationships will propel you. And here's how we're going to talk about that. And the reason for this is this. Business alliances and relationships enforces a discipline that you do not have working by yourself. When you have to do something, you have to perform because you're in a team, because you're doing it for your affiliates, because you're doing that before the person you're promoting for. It enforces a discipline upon you. It forces you to, first of all, make commitments. Right? It forces you to adhere to those commitments. It enforces you to follow through on those commitments. And because of that, you will actually get things done that you will not get done otherwise. So until you have the discipline of being able to do this on your own, business relationships will help you in this way, in internet marketing in particular. Right? That is the number one problem with internet marketers. I can tell you from my own experience is focus. And one of the reasons we don't focus sometimes is because we're not motivated. And sometimes you're not going to have, right? You're not going to have disaster impending upon you to be to focus. But what you can have is you can have people who are depending on you, who are counting on you, who are looking to you to hold up to your word. Now, and I want to say this about this, and I want people to get antsy about this. Well, I've heard partnerships are bad. They can be, right? And I'm not talking about getting married. So I'm not talking about, you're going to go down to the courthouse, you're going to be signed up to do a partnership, and you're going to get tax forms together and all that stuff. That's not what we're talking about. We're not talking about necessarily an ongoing partnership. That is not necessarily the way that you have to do this. I'm not against that, right? But that's not what I'm talking about with business alliances and relationships. It is an arrangement for at least one project for profit. So I'm not talking about, we're going to get together and we're going to do this webinar. I mean, that's cool, all cool stuff, but getting together with someone for the express purpose of a for-profit project. Right? Something's going to make the two of you money. Now, or 2 or 3 of you, or 4 of you, or 5 of you, whatever the case is, whatever the arrangement is. Now, it can be an affiliate arrangement, right? You don't have to structure those. Typically, those are already set up through the affiliate platform, but it can be an affiliate arrangement and can be a broker arrangement. So, in other words, you agree to go and get joint venture partners for someone. It can be a partner arrangement. In other words, you agree to work with someone and you create something that you're both going to recruit affiliates for. So it can be any number of one of those things or any combination of them when we talk about business alliances and relationships. It is the single fastest way to go from zero to hero in internet marketing. So you can go from nothing to something almost overnight by building the right relationships. Now, what does that mean? That means that when you start measuring things in your internet marketing business by 2 things, growth on your contact list, growth of your database, growth of your list, right? That's like putting on your oxygen mask. The way they say in an airplane when you get ready to go down, or they're explaining to you how you're going to conduct yourself on an airplane. They tell you that if there's an emergency, what you want to do is put on your oxygen mask first before you start trying to help someone, because if you lose your breath, you're not going to be able to help anybody. And that's the case with your contact list. Feeding your contact list is like putting on that oxygen mask. You're not even going to be able to make sales in the long run if you don't build that contact list. Right? So the only 2 measures are building your contact list, which you should be focused on every day, and increasing your income. Everything else, right? Everything else, if it's not an extension of that, trust me, you're not going to be in business very long anyway. So anybody you think you're helping, right, by being cool or by creating great content, even all those things are good, you are not going to be there very long. And so you've got to be able to do these things and do them consistently. And as I've said here at the beginning, systematically, right? So what we want to talk about then what are you going to do to increase your list, right? And your income with alliances. One of the ways you can do that is to create a product and launch it, right? And collect the leads, right? So in other words, everybody that buys your product, you are going to auto opt them in, right? So creating a product and going to the marketplace and launching it and getting customers. What that means is that those leads that buy, they're buying leads. They're people who buy things. They're people who buy what you sell. And this is the best kind of database to have. You want to have a database full of people that like what you sell, right? And so that's a great way to start talking about alliances. Now, I'll tell you why that is in a minute. If you create a product with someone, right, you get together and you partner to create a product, you are going to have the benefit of what they bring to the table in terms of their list, in terms of the promotion they're able to do, and they get the benefit of what you're able to do. And sometimes they get the benefit of being able to create a product they wouldn't have been able to create otherwise without you, right? So you're bringing your strengths together in order to create a product, launch it, and collect the leads. And so if anything in that process, you may not be able to do all the things that are necessary to to create a product and launch it, but you can when you get together with one or some other people that can do that. Now, you can, what this means then is that, the product you create together, you're going to recruit affiliates and collect leads. So in other words, some of what's going to happen is this product that you were not able to create otherwise, but that you did create when you got together with someone, you are going to be able to recruit other people to bring you more leads, right? By bringing you more sales, to bring you more people to your page. Now, you can also get together with someone or other people and create an event and promote it, right? So maybe you don't have the strength to do this on your own, but you get together with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 other people, you create an event and you promote it. What's going to happen is you are going to see people that you would not have seen at this event otherwise if you wouldn't have had it, or people that you're going to see that are based on your partners. And so once again, you should be collecting leads. You can create a membership, and that's pretty much like creating a product, but you're creating a membership with someone, and you're getting exposure to the other person's, other person's audience and their list and their community, and you're launching it. And when they buy, you're collecting the leads. Once again, when you get together with someone and you develop an audience, so you do a podcast with someone, you do a show with someone, and you are basically, again, leveraging that person's position in the marketplace, leveraging their expertise. People are coming to that show because of them. People are coming to that show because of you. They are coming, and you are collecting leads. Once again, everything that you're doing with other people allows you to leverage what they're doing in the marketplace. Now, I'm going to tell you why this is important here at the end. You're creating collaborative content. So in other words, you're able to create content about certain subjects or about in certain ways that other people cannot. Maybe you can't create instructional video and somebody else can. Maybe you can't create written content, but somebody else can. Once again, it draws people to a blog. It draws people to what you're doing, draws people to your presence, and then you're able to collect leads. You can broker a launch, right? You can broker a launch, and again, working together with other people. In other words, what you're doing to broker a launch is you're bringing together other joint venture partners. And in finding those other joint venture partners, what you're doing is you're developing a contact list of your own, right? You're brokering a launch. You can also develop, now, here's what I really like. I really like this. I'm going to be talking about this here, and I'm going to be talking about this in particular because I think it's a great way for you to get started if you don't have anything going on right now. Developing bonus content, auxiliary products, and collecting leads. So in other words, you're working with someone who's already got a product, you're creating bonus content so they can sell their product more, and you're collecting the leads because they get a bonus and you actually get your product on their download page, and you're able to collect leads because you've got a fantastic product that you've put on their download page. They're using it to advertise, they're using it to get more sales, and people are going to come to their download page, they're going to see that bonus, and they're going to say, oh, I want to go ahead, I want to opt in to get that, right? And your list grows as a result of that. And you can do that over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. As many partners as you can find, you can do that over and over and over again, right? If you have nobody on your list, if you can create fantastic bonus content or fantastic product, auxiliary products for somebody else's product that they're selling, you can collect leads. Okay, you can develop a show platform with other people and collect the leads. This is just like developing an audience. You're using Blog Talk Radio. You're live streaming. Right, you're doing some kind of live streaming, and this is fantastic. I mean, people are doing Periscope now, they're doing Blab, and what they're doing, hopefully, is they're collecting leads. Hopefully, if you're, again, I love all this new stuff, right? Google Hangouts and Blab, and I guess Facebook Live is coming. And if you're collecting leads, now if you you know if and branding is cool if you collect the leads, right? Now you probably can't do all these if you're not doing any of them. I'm going to suggest you pick one of these and get really good at it. Right? You don't have to do all these things. And sometimes I think what happens to us is, we get an information product, we see somebody doing something, you say, man, I could do that. I could do that. So I'm going to start this project. And what happens is you stop making progress on the one you're already doing. Right? So don't try to do all these. Pick one of them and get really good at it. Now, who are the people that are your allies? People who are the people you're gonna line up with? Who are the people you're gonna partner with? Who are the people that you're going to develop these relationships with? Excuse me. They're the players in your niche. What do I mean by that? These are the folks who are already doing the things you want to do. Okay, they're creating the products, they're doing the webinars, they're putting on the events, they're doing the seminars, they're doing the what do you call it? The summits. Right? These are the players in your niche. These are the people that you want to align yourself with. And one of the things that I'll tell you personally that I had to overcome, and maybe you don't have to overcome it, but I see this with a lot of marketers when they get started, coming from what I call the old world. And the old world is that if you had somebody that did the very same thing you did, they were your competition. And one of the things that you want to see there is that every time you get together with somebody else who does something like you, the pie actually gets bigger when you get together because you get access to their database, they get access to yours. It's just like if you go to the marketing section of the bookstore. Do people go still? I don't know if people still go to bookstores, but let's say you go to the marketing section of the books in Amazon Kindle, and you're going to see a gazillion books, and you probably own some of them, right? All by different authors. And what that means is that people are going to buy multiple things, multiple products from multiple people. And so when you're able to align yourself with people as opposed to looking at them solely as your competition, that means then that when you get together with them, you get access to their audience or their reader base or their product creation base or their community, and they get access to yours. And every time you all get together, the pie gets bigger. Right? Because together when you create something, you're going to have more people to want that, and you're going to bring in more people, not just from your community, but from other communities because of what you're able to put together. Now, the people who you align yourself with, they're already people creating products and launching products. So you're looking at people who are in your niche, they're already creating the products and launching them. You want to line yourself up with them. And don't worry, I'm going to get to how you're going to do that here in a minute. Now, they've already got an existing audience. So, they've already got a show. They've already got a podcast. They've already got a webinar they do on a regular basis. They've got an existing audience. So you want to line yourself up with them. They've already got an existing community, right? So they've got a Google Plus group or a Facebook group. So they've already got these people. You want to be able to line yourself up. They've already got a show. Now, here's the thing about lining yourself up with these people, and I want to say this right from the start. You don't go to these people empty-handed. So in other words, you don't go to these people saying, hey, I'm about to create this. Hey, I'm about to create this product. Hey, I'm about to do this. Can we get together? Can we create something together? That's not the way to do it. You really need to already have something available. You need to already have something out there. You need to have an audience of your own, a community of your own, a list of your own, a show of your something. Right? So don't come to the table empty-handed. Don't come by saying, hey, I'm totally new. I want you to work with me just because I want you to work with me. Right? You should have evidence that you were at least committed to the niche. Because look, if you're asking to get in front of my audience, I don't want to, I love you. I don't want you to come before my audience and you're totally new. I don't even know if you've got the ability to deliver on what you're delivering on. If you have a community already, that's evidence that you know how to deliver. If you have a product that you've sold, right, that's evidence that you know how to deliver. Again, it's nothing personal, but it's just like that. And I can tell you that it's the very same thing. It was the very same thing for me. When you come to the table, you've already got something. People are more willing to talk to you about getting together. Now, and let me say this parenthetically, right, about that, right, about not coming to the table empty-handed. About when you go to a conference, right, and you go to a conference, and people are typically at conferences because they want to increase their exposure and they want to increase the ways they're going to be able to generate more income. And so if you say, well, I've got this thing that I'm doing, if you're not doing it in the way and it's already generating something, and it's not quite ready yet, and it's not quite getting there where it's going to do something for someone else, people are going to still be a little hesitant whether or not they want to align themselves with you. They'll be nice to you, they'll be conversant with you, but it doesn't mean that people are going to be willing to do a joint venture with you, right? And so the time to start developing this is now. So if you don't have a platform, you don't have a product, you don't have an audience, you don't have a community, don't worry about that. Don't let that stop you. But the time to start developing that is now. Right? There's a Chinese proverb that says that the best time to do it was yesterday. The next best time is right now. Right? So start developing it now. And at minimum, okay, now you don't have any of these things, right? And this is something you can start working on right now. Right? If you're gonna build a marketing alliance, you're gonna build an affiliate relationship, create a sellable product. Right? It can be a Kindle book, it can be a Udemy course, but it needs to be a sellable product with some value in the marketplace, and it should have a USP. What do I mean by that? It should have something in it that people can't get elsewhere. So it can't be a Me Too thing. Well, I'm going to create a product on how to use Twitter. Well, that's cool. It's just not necessarily going to get you lots of looks, right? So you want to have something that has a USP with it, and the more pronounced or the more definitive your USP, the better off you're going to be. Now, business relationships, right? These relationships, these alliances you're going to build, they're intentional. What do I mean by that? Here's what I mean by that. You're trying to build relationships with people you're going to launch something with, right? So this is not just an acquaintance. This is somebody that already has something that you can actually leverage, and you've already got something, hopefully, that you've built that they can leverage. And even if you don't have much on the leverage end, right, you have something that you can benefit from them by working together. And so by trying to find these people, here's what I want to tell you right now. I know that it's easy to reach out to people on social media. They friend you or they connect with you, and you just kind of think, well, I'm going to send them a message and tell them how cool I am and how I've got this really wonderful thing. And they've got to want to have my stuff with me. Okay, social media cold meetings are not advised. Right, so in other words, don't just kind of at least don't reach out to somebody and kind of expect that they're going to respond just because you reached out to them on social media, right? But attending conferences where these people are, that is advised, right? So I said are, but is advised. Attending conferences is advised. So you should attend conferences where these people are that you want to get together with. That's a great way to meet these people but just by your being there, right? You have eliminated distractions. You have eliminated the sort of the stalker, right? The stalker syndrome. You're there because you're doing business. You got your name tag on. You're there. You're in the several sessions, and you're there because you're in their niche. So at least when you do a cold meeting at that point, you're actually meeting them, and it's more likely to yield something than if you just reach out to people on social media. Now, expecting collaboration from cold emails, right? You get a support address and you send an email saying, hey, you know what? I'm really cool. You're really cool. Hey, let's get together. Expecting collaboration from that, I would not advise that. What I would advise, though, is offering to promote their product as an affiliate, right? Finding out about their product. Hey, you know what? And sending an email that says, hey, I'm looking at your product here. I have a few questions about it. I'm going to be sending this out to my mailing list. I'm going to be promoting this on social media. Just have a few questions for you. That's a great way to make an introduction and a great way to meet somebody. Now, okay, just building it, right? Creating your product and expect people are going to come to you. All these new JVs are going to come and they're just going to flock to you because, your product's really cool. I wouldn't advise it. Right? I wouldn't sit around waiting for a lot of JV relationships just because you created a product. But when you purchase the product of the people that you want to work with, that is advised. What that does is that means then you're at least serious, and what that does is that gives you somebody's real contact information, right? Because you're their customer then, right? You're their customer, becoming a customer. Now, expecting to pick the brains of people, right, of the positions that you want to be in. So in other words, you're just kind of finding, you just want to kind of talk to them, find out how they did it, how they do it, and what, and that's cool. I just would not sit around waiting for that. But if you provide a real avenue for real publicity, right, you're gonna put together an audience for them and real exposure, that is advised. when you are just kind of in Skype and you're meeting someone. Skype stalking is what I call it. I'm going to friend this person. I'm going to leave a message and say, hey, Charles, and just wait for them to respond. Then I'm going to hit them with what I got. That's probably not advised. That's not the best way to meet someone that you're going to be building an alliance with. Skype relationship building is advised. Being in groups with people, getting to know what it is they do, asking them questions about what it is they do, building a relationship just as you would any place else. That is advised. Okay, getting in a forum, right? And we're all part of forums. We're all part of online forums and doing what I call humble bragging. In other words, finding a way to brag about yourself in order to bring attention. I mean, I guess it works. I guess it works sometimes. It's just not cool, right? And that's not the way you're going to build the kind of relationships that are going to be the ones that are going to propel you. But offering your help in forums, giving direct advice. In other words, give the advice direct. Okay, if it's hey, you know what? If you want somebody to come check out your page, ask them directly. If you want people to come and see a webinar you're doing, say, come and see my webinar. But don't try to do it and kind of hide it and mask it by doing some kind of fancy post and trying to. That's not cool. When you're in a forum, either be helpful, right? Either ask for people to do what you want them to do, or direct advice. And sometimes what I even call the wounded butterfly. In other words, you come into people and you're going to ask them their advice on something, right? And that's going to bring attention to you, and it's going to bring attention to what it is you're doing. Right now, now I've done all that. I want to talk about a specific application and how all this applies. So what does all this mean? I've laid the groundwork now so that you understand now that none of this has to be haphazard, right? None of this has to be accidental in terms of making money online. So here's what you're going to do. If you just want to get started, now let's create a paid product, info product. It can be anything. I'm not talking about putting it on. If you want to put it on Udemy, that's cool. But it should be something that you can teach somebody how to do. It doesn't matter what it is, right? It should be something that people want. It should be solving a problem that people already have. Now, I'm not doing this based on, I could probably do an entire product, entire talk on creating a niche or finding a niche, but that's not what this is about. But create a paid info product, try to solve a problem that people already have or they're trying to solve. Okay, then make it available in the marketplace. If you're an internet marketer, make it available on JVZoo or Warrior Plus or ClickBank or someplace. Make it available. Give it a value. Give it a price. Give it a buy button. Right? Make sure it's available for sale. It should have a value. Then find a suitable partner you want to have a relationship with or you have a relationship with. So in other words, you've got this product here, and you've got something that, look, it's a nice product. Maybe not everybody knows about it, but it's a paid product. You put your effort into it. It would be nice to own. And so you're going to go to your partner and find someone who already has who's already kind of in that niche. They're on that subject. They're probably going to be producing something, right? You want to match your product with an upcoming launch they have. So in other words, find that person, find that partner that's got a launch and he's got something related. You got a product on CPA marketing, now they're having a CPA marketing launch. That's the person you want to talk to, right? You want to talk to them about putting your product on their download. So here's what you're going to do. You're going to create a graphic. If you need to have this outsourced, again, make it professional. So in other words, make it something that would be enticing to somebody who saw it, would want to click on it in order to get your opt-in. One of the things that you want to learn, right? Opt-ins do not just work because they work. Just because you put a form up with a with a name and email address box, or hey, I've got the new two-step process. That's not as important as you selling the opt-in, right? So you need to work as hard with your copy on the opt-in as you do on the sales page. Right? Work hard. So work hard. Put your best listen. Your best copy should be on your opt-in page, right? So create a graphic for them to put on their download page that's going to make people, when they see it, want to click. Right? It should excite them. It should make them feel like, God, I got to have that now. And so they don't even think about giving you their name and email address because they want what you have. They've seen it. Your graphic should give them motivation to want to go get it. Now, make sure your autoresponder is connected to that page. So in other words, they got to opt in to get what you have. Okay, yes, you're putting that on their download page. It's a bonus, but in order to get it, of course, they need to opt into your list. And you don't send them, right? You don't send them direct to that page when they put their name and email address in there. They've got to get your first message in order to get it. Because, I mean, human nature is human nature, according to this. They will opt out, right? People will opt out. And you might say, well, you know, I don't really want to have them if they don't want to be there. Now, I mean, I've had that attitude in the past, and it will be self-destructive to you, right? Because if they want what you have, they've already seen your opt-in. They do want what you have, right? Sure, they may opt out, but you want to make sure at the very least you have the opportunity to generate sales with them. You have the opportunity to talk to them and build a relationship with them, and you can't do that, right, if you give them the what you promised them as soon as they put their name and email address in. So in other words, make sure they got to confirm, right? They got to confirm the email, and they got to get that first delivery in order to get your stuff. Now, make sure you're collecting leads, and that goes without saying. So in other words, these are people that when they become part of your autoresponder, you need to treat them like people who you expect to buy from you, right? These are leads. They're not, you know, and you're not putting them there so you can count them, right? You're not putting them there so you can say, well, my list is 5,000. You're getting that list of people so that you can market to them, so you can solve their problems, so that you can help them to overcome their problems, so you can help them to accomplish their goals. So you're collecting leads from the autoresponder. Okay, you're going to create marketing automation for this prospect list. So the people that opt in from this product, they should get a series of messages that are auto-generated. So yeah, you are going to write broadcast emails, but these folks, right? And I'm almost going to say that you don't want to have these folks getting broadcast emails from you. I don't care how often you mail, right? If some people mail every day. I certainly wouldn't be giving these folks anything other than a marketing automation list and not a broadcast email. And in that marketing automation email, right, you should be creating value-based email with a PS to an offer, right? So every day they should be getting value, 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 and then a PS, value, 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 then a PS, value, 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 and a PS. In other words, everything that you have in your inventory, they should be seeing as an offer, right? And here's what's going to happen, right? They're going to keep getting these offers. Right, it's going to be a value-based email. You're going to know exactly where you are with this customer. You're going to know exactly where you are with this prospect, because if they stay on that list, that means that there's something in what you're you're suggesting to them that they don't like, right, or that they haven't come to like yet. Now, as soon as a purchase is made, have them auto-removed from your AWeber list. So in other words, they make a purchase, right? They need to get placed into your buyers list. Now, there are ways to do that even when they buy an affiliate product. Right? If they buy an affiliate product from you, right, you want to have them auto-removed from that list, right, and put into your buyer's list. Okay, and then continue to build then each element of the 8-point system we talked about into your marketing until it operates as a system. Right? Continue to build the 8-point system until it operates as a system. What is the 8-point system? Let's let me kind of recap that again for you. The 8-point system, right? Unique selling proposition, exponential marketing, list building and database marketing, business alliances and joint ventures, media advertising, community marketing and PR, and then internet traffic, right? And then we also talked about direct response also. So now let's talk a little bit more. Let's close out my discussion about this. I've given you a specific application, and now I just kind of want to conclude with a few things here. And this is a final word, okay? Because most of you want to turn what you're doing, right? A lot of you have already made sales. A lot of you have already been able to do these things. You've been able to build a little list and create some sales, and you've been able to get a little motivation, but you can't foresee this becoming a business. And what I've given you here has already given you the foundation where you could create a business. And you might say, well, how's that going to happen? Now, let's kind of talk through these things before we close out here. Now, if you're in your team, right, the people that are creating this, if you got to do something every day to make it happen, it's not a business, and you don't have a system. So in other words, the reason you're putting a system in place is so that you can have traffic coming to you, so that you can have sales being generated without you having to do anything to create it, Right? Again, I have no problem sending an email every day. I have no problem with working to get traffic every day. But if you're creating everything in your business, all that basically means is you can't leave it. And just because you're not a freelancer doesn't mean that you have a business if you can't leave it. If not writing an email on a particular day, even if you have to set it up ahead of time, you need to have some of your systems generating income for you, right? Just by the nature of the system and not just from your activity. That's a business, right? Now, and trust me, none of this happens overnight. And I think Malcolm Gladwell talked about having 10,000 hours into something. And I know that people are talking about that. You're probably tired of hearing about that it takes 10,000 hours in order to develop expertise. But it's true, right? And what you've got to start looking at is the same thing that all of us have to do, is you've got to see internet marketing as a trade. Right? There are different branches of this trade, but if you look at it in the same way a plumber looks at his job or his trade, then you might approach it differently. There are things you have to learn how to do. There are things that you have to come to understand well enough where you can do them, and then you create systems where you can either have the income coming to you, or you can have a company that generates income for you in the area of expertise that you have. Right, so and that kind of brings me to this point. You have to develop expertise. I mean, it's the only leverage you have. Now, you might ask, now, what does that mean? That expertise is the only leverage. Getting traffic and creating income is fantastic. It's making money online. That is exactly what it is. But that does not mean you have an online business. Right? Just because you can create income and you can get it traffic doesn't mean you have an online business. Right? See, the game, and look, I'm not even saying that I'm at this point right now, right? The point that I say we've all got to be before the trade of internet marketing becomes a business. Do you have people that are seeking you out because they know what you have and they want you for it, right? Until then, your marketing isn't working as a system. It just is not. You have when your marketing is working as a system, people will seek you out for what you have, not because you did anything to generate traffic or to get traffic or to create income for that day, but because your marketing did the work, your system did the work. Until you have some kind of deep-rooted expertise that cannot be easily duplicated, right? Where you almost become your USP, you're going to work harder until you do, right? You're going to work hard at this until you are your USP or you have a USP. Right? Until you have some kind of deep-rooted expertise that other people cannot duplicate. And that might mean that you need to work at something until it works. Right? Instead of saying, okay, I'm going to go over this thing. Or, somebody else released a product, I'm going to do this now. Or, hey, Google algorithm did this thing, and I'm going to do this now. You're going to reach a lot of points where you're going to say, you know what, this sucks. This is boring me out of my mind. I'm going to go find my passion. Until some of the things that we do in internet marketing to build a business, right? And I'm not saying you can't make money online, right? A lot of us can make money online, but most of you listening to this presentation, you want to do this so that it becomes a business, right? So that it becomes something that you can walk away from. So it becomes something that if you walk away from it and you go on vacation, it'll still be operating. It'll still be bringing you cash flow. Right? And so in order to do that, you might not be able to stop working at something until you develop an area, right? You develop an expertise. And that means you can't work on 10 things, right? You can't hop around when you do that. And it might mean sticking to something until others in your niche bail, right? Just because you have a lot of competition right now, you're always going to have a lot of competition in anything that matters all the time, right? If you stick to something, I can't promise you this, right? But I've seen it over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. You stick with something until it works. Other people who are in your marketplace will bail. They will leave the market because they'll get tired of it. Most people get tired of what it takes to build an online business in a particular area. Most people will move on to the next shiny object. Most people will move on to the next thing that's easy. Right? Most people will move on to the next thing that doesn't take quite as much work. Most people will move on to the next thing when there's a setback, like a Google algorithm change. Most people will move on when there's a setback, like Facebook deciding they're going to reduce the amount of traffic going to fan pages. Most people will move on to something else. And so when you're the one, right, when you face those new limitations because you've sat and you developed the expertise in an area, you're not leaving a niche just because something happens, something changes, right? You face the limitations and you overcome them. Right, and you can't do that without an area of expertise. You can't do that when your expertise is not deep rooted. But when your expertise is deep rooted, you will find a way to overcome something that happens. You will find a way to overcome a Google algorithm change. You will find a way to overcome something in the marketplace that changes and affects the way you generate income. And those are going to be the things that I gave you a way to make money online. Right? I told you about a way to make money online. Remember what we talked about? I'm going to kind of recap this specific application, creating a paid product, making it available as a paid product, getting it on somebody's download page, opting them in, getting them into marketing automation, taking them off when they buy a product, and then building each element into your system, each element of the marketing system I talk about until they continue to become a lifetime customer. Right? So when you're doing that, you are really going to want to move at some point from making money in specific projects by working together with other people to building a business. And so when you can do that, right, you're going to be able to do that as fast as anything else by working with other people. That is the way you can probably move from where you are right now to where you want to go. Well, I certainly hope that this has been helpful for you and that you'll be able to take some notes and that this will be something that you'll be able to use in order to generate income in your business. My name is Charles Harper. I hope that you'll join me on the PLR show, and I hope to see you either on a webinar or in a video or someplace on the web. Thanks. Have a great day and a pleasant tomorrow. Take care.